Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United face a trip to Watford, who've won 4 Premier League games in a row and are top at league, and we have only won 2. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. We're 2 days away, if you're watching this live, from Manchester United returning in Premier League action against Watford. I would be excited anyway, but there's so many exciting elements to this game, which I'm going to talk to you about in a moment. But I feel like Christmas. You're hanging up these stockings on the wall. I'm not going to sing that ever again. But are you? Because it just feels so long since we've played. And there is a lot of optimism like Christmas. And you know what? After the game on Watford, it might be a Christmas day where you open it up, you're expecting a PS4, and you get a bloody game of chess. Who knows what we're going to get? We don't know what we're going to unwrap on Saturday night, but in the meantime, we can get excited about it. I want to talk about Pogba. That team news there is a predicted lineup. Definitely want to talk to you about that. But first of all, I just want to talk about Watford, because this could be a return from the Premier League, from the international break, where we're like, oh yeah, we're just excited to have football back. And of course, that could be the case. But it isn't. There's a hell of a lot more to this game than that. This is Watford, and there's good, there's bad, and there's ugly. And I'm not talking about Troy Deeney. There is good things about Watford. They have won 4 out of 4. They've won 4 out of 4 games, and the manager has sort of tweaked their system a little bit. Even I mean, I've done my research. You've got to do your research. I'm not following Watford week in, week out. I don't know what they do, but this week I've looked into Watford quite a lot. And a lot of people will tell you they play a 4-4-2. The reality is they probably play more of a 4-2-2-2. With Decore and Capoue being the base of that midfield, energetic players, very energetic, but also quite cultured players that can move the ball around. Ahead of them, you've got Hughes and Pereira. I think that's how you pronounce it. And they don't really play as wide. They cut in more as attacking midfielders. Now, obviously, they will occupy wide positions, but they do like to come inside a lot. And then ahead of them, you've got Troy Deeney, absolute workhorse up front, with Andre Gray, who's got that little bit of flair. They are a threat. They are a team that actually could well finish in the top 10 this season. They're not a team that United shouldn't beat, but they have tweaked their system quite a bit. They're not a long ball team. So, you know, when we look at what we did against Burnley with Fellaini, maybe that's not a great idea. They are a team that likes to pass out from the back. And again, this is something that their new manager has integrated into the team quite effectively. And one thing they definitely are is energetic, and I knew that anyway. They are an energetic team, and they were last season, even when Silva was their manager. You know, this is a massive game for them. They've got 12 points from 12. It's at their place. They're going to be up for it. Their crowd's going to be up for it. But they are a team that would be very in your face anyway. But they're technically quite good. In a sentence, if United don't turn up for this game, or United play in 4th gear like we have in the past, we won't win this game. So that's what excites me. It really excites me, because we've got to turn up for it. And I'm not bigging Watford up beyond a Man City or anything like that, because they're not that level. But they're definitely going to give a team. And I'd say United at the moment, you know what we are? We are a lion that's had its appendix out. The scar is still there. We can still function. And we should function, but we are a little bit wounded, and we are on our way back. And Watford will definitely be going for us, trying to stick the boot in. And another thing about Watford that's been, you know, how long this will last, I don't know, but it's certainly true from their first 4 games. Very, very, very clinical. Very clinical. You look at some of their goals, they're not tap-ins. They are chances that if they'd missed them, you'd go, oh, good effort, or anything like that. So they've been very, very, very clinical, Watford. And United are going to have to be very, very careful, because not only are you going to be playing against a team that's going to be energetic, like I say, but they are technically quite good as well. They're well organised by their manager, and we've got to take our game to them. That's what Manchester United have got to do. We've got to take our game to them. So when we talk about Paul Pogba, look, should Paul Pogba be dropped for this game? Is the question I would put to you, because I see a lot of this on Twitter. We've got Rants on tonight at 8 o'clock. He's going to come on. He's very, very annoyed about the stick that Paul Pogba is getting. And I've just talked to him just before I did this show. I said, come on tonight. Come on via Skype, because I think he's in Manchester doing something anyway. Have your say on it, because I understand why you're annoyed about it. But actually, I like Pogba. I've always been very pro Pogba. I think he's the sort of player that can be anything he wants to be. But I won't hide and disguise the fact that I'm not happy with some of the comments he's made. But more importantly, his inconsistency on the pitch. And Gary Neville has come out and made comments. And, you know, Gary Neville is a United legend, isn't he? He's a United great for sure. And a lot of people listen to what Gary Neville's got to say. Doesn't mean Gary Neville's right, but what he's basically said is, look, if Paul Pogba wants to go. Manchester United will be fine without him. But in the meantime, he's got to put some professionalism into the shirt and into the next few games. And from a club perspective, he's right. He said the club have got to say, look, he's not for sale because obviously you want to keep his value up. So Pogba's an interesting one. I wouldn't drop Paul Pogba. That's why Paul Pogba's in the 11 I've predicted that Mourinho will play. Paul Pogba should not be dropped. I don't think that is... He played in a team that won last game, so why would you drop him? You're dropping him for comments on the international break. Deal with that in-house. Let's not bite our nose off to spite our face. But I mean, look, Paul Pogba is a little bit like Manchester United. We effectively have a situation with Paul Pogba where we're not getting Pogba in a hot run of form, are we? He's not hot. He's not game in, game out, playing absolutely fantastic. But what's behind why Paul Pogba's not hot? Is it simply that, you know, is Paul Pogba a bowl of chicken soup? Is that what he is? You put him in the microwave, you put it in for 2 minutes. When it comes out, you have a bit off the edge, and you go, "Oh, that's really hot. I'm going to go eat that." You'd make the mistake of taking him, the chicken soup, into the living room, sit down, put your favourite programme on, you take a bit from the middle, it's cold. And that's Pogba at the moment. He's hot, but he's cold. And he is like that bowl of soup. What needs to happen is, when he tastes a little bit hot, taste the middle, stir it all together. If it's not warm enough, put it back in the microwave. Get Paul Pogba hot. Get the chicken soup hot. That's what we want to see from Paul Pogba. And I do believe, I don't want to fall into this trap of saying Pogba's to blame, Mourinho's to blame. We don't know the truth. But I always will stand by what I've said many times, that Paul Pogba, and I've moved on from the chicken soup now, Paul Pogba at a different club would be a different player. And I think at certain clubs, he would be a better player. I think at Spurs, he'd be a better player. At City, he'd be a better player. At Liverpool, he'd be a better player because they play that better brand of football. But what we've got to be very, very careful is that an international break is unfortunately just that. It's a break from club football. And we don't want the break. So we talk about lots of different things, and then we get thrown real juicy bones from Pogba's comments, and we're like, oh, that's not acceptable. And everyone's got a right to make their mind up. But I look at the comments of Lukaku after the Burnley game that really didn't get drilled down on because the international breaks happened and everybody moved away. And what Lukaku said is lots of quick passing, runs behind, a lot of chances created. We tried to press the ball and the fan because that's what the fans want to see. And I think when the striker comes out and says those things, he's saying it for two reasons. One, probably because it's true, but two, because he wants it to be the truth. You know, the players clearly, when Lukaku's coming out and talking about quick movement of the ball, lots of chances, pressing, that clearly is what Lukaku wants. And I would suspect it's what Pogba wants. It's what Rashford wants. It's what Sanchez wants. It's what Lingard wants. It's what the whole team wants. But it probably wasn't what Mourinho and Faria wanted, because that's what we had last season. But let's not forget, we've got 3 new coaches. We've got the lad from Italy, I forget his name, Spalletti, I think it is. We've got McKenna and we've got Carrick. And I really am hopeful that we are starting to see now a change in the last couple of games. And maybe that change might be coming too late for Paul Pogba. Maybe Pogba's just miserable because he doesn't like playing for Mourinho. But there is this opportunity between now and Christmas where we are definitely, hopefully, going to play a different brand of football. A more exciting brand of football. A quicker brand of football with more chances in it. Well, surely that is Paul Pogba's bread and butter. Bread and butter, chicken soup, you see. They go together like milk and tea. Or Arsenal and empty dressing rooms. That didn't work. Trophy rooms. Live TV. But yes, so Pogba's got an opportunity over the next few months to really get involved in a brand of football that works for him. And if he ends up going, like Gary Neville says, he goes. But Pogba needs to start delivering. I don't think anybody benefits from Paul Pogba's one good game in 4. Paul Pogba's languid, I'm not happy. I think let's get the best out of Paul Pogba. That'll bring the best out of Manchester United, and that'll get the best out of the fans. And if Pogba decides he wants to go because he wants to go to Spain, at the end of the day, it's disappointing, but let him go. I do sort of feel that the Pogba, there is frustration at United in the fan base, and I do understand that. But we are always looking for fall guys. I mean, I'm a big fan of Anthony Martial. Martial is of Anthony Martial. Nothing's going to change that apart from him putting a Liverpool shirt on, like I said yesterday. But there's a lot of people who hate Martial. There's a lot of people who don't like Fellaini. Now, I don't like him as a footballer, but I don't hate him as an individual. There's a lot of people now who don't like Paul Pogba. There's a lot of people who don't like Mourinho. There's a lot of people who don't like the club. Phil Jones. You know, we've all got people agendas. But I think this excitement that we have of this game to come is really important that we just get behind the team. I'm glad it's an away game because the away support is a different kind of support to the home support. And that's nothing bad against the home support. I don't think they'd be booing Pogba anyway, but I certainly know that the away support won't be doing that. So Pogba's going into a game where, look, if Paul Pogba has a good game against Watford on Saturday, like every other player, Lukaku, Sanchez, anyone else who's got a point to prove, if they have a good game against Watford on Saturday, then that is a real tick in the box. That is a real tick in the box because they're a good team. So let's have a look at the lineup. Well, Junior 7 says Pogba's my favourite player at United because I can see what he can do. He can do everything. He can attack, defend, hold, but he can't do everything. If you want him to defend, don't expect him to attack. Junior, I totally agree. I totally agree with that comment. I think that is essentially the point, isn't it? That the people who I'm critical of Paul Pogba. Not because of his haircuts, not because of his dancing. They become irritating when he plays badly, and maybe they shouldn't do because they are side products. The reality is Pogba frustrates me because I love what he is as a player and I know full well what he can be. And Paul Pogba should be in the set. He should be on. You know, if the Premier League, if Premier League talent is a book, then Paul Pogba should be on the first page with Salah and De Bruyne, not in the middle pages with bloody God knows who. I don't even know. You know, like what's his name at Everton? McCarthy, James McCarthy. That's not where Pogba should be. He should be on the front page. He isn't. He's not on the front page of the best players in the Premier League. He should be, but he isn't. And I think that's where we all get frustrated. It's almost praise because it's not criticism. We're criticising him because he should be there. Hopefully he can. Anyway, the team I think that Mourinho will go with. Many things really. 4-3-3 was what we pretty much played against Burnley. Will we see that again? Well, remember we're up against a 4-2-2-2. So Watford will basically have their back four line there. Then they're going to have two there, two sort of there, and two there. So I think that the 3-5-2 works really well because you've got Smalling, Bay and Lindelof in that system, obviously De Gea in goal, to deal with Gray and Deeney, which is fine. You've got three centre-backs to deal with them. You've then got Hughes and Pereira, which can be dealt with by Valencia, Matic and Young. And then you've got Pogba, Fellaini to go up against Doucouré and Capoue, and then you leave Sanchez and Lukaku to deal with their back four. Now, obviously, we are the away team, so when I'm saying deal with things, we've got to deal with them. And we will have to deal with that. I think the key points in this are probably if we play the 3-5-2, who is your back three? And there's two players there that I suspect Jose Mourinho maybe wouldn't want to play in Bailly and Lindelof. Smalling picks himself. I think Smalling will definitely play. Phil Jones shouldn't be anywhere near a United shirt, and hopefully the injury will keep him away. But you know what? I don't wish injury on any player. But Phil Jones, if he is injured, I'd like him to stay injured for this game because I just don't want Phil Jones anywhere near it. I think it's difficult for Lindelof, and maybe if Rojo was available, a bit of physical. Troy Deeney's physical. Andre Gray's very, very... He's a skilled player, but he's a big lad as well. So we need some physicality in there. I think Eric Bailly's got to play. Young is obviously going to be the left wing back, we think, because I think there's a very, very slim chance that Luke Shaw will play. Antonio Valencia down the right. Matic will play, as expected. And then it becomes Pogba's got to play. I think Lukaku and Sanchez will be the front two because that's what Mourinho will go with. And the big position in this team is always going to be Marouane Fellaini. Does Fellaini play? Does Lingard play? Do you bring Fred in? Now, personally, I would play that formation with Fred where Fellaini is. I don't get why we need Fellaini in this game. And I think Fellaini was brilliant against Burnley. And it's nothing to do with me not liking Fellaini and wanting to be at the club, because I don't. He played well against Burnley. And in some occasions, you would say, play him against Watford. But we played him against Burnley because Burnley play long ball. Watford don't play long ball. Watford have got Doucouré, Capoue, Hughes, Pereira, Deeney, Andre Gray. None of which are players that are going to thrive on long balls, all of which are energetic and fast. It's the contrast to what Fellaini brings. I don't think Fellaini suits Watford away. I really don't. I think Mourinho will pick him, but I really don't think he suits Watford away. And this is where If I was Carrick and I was McKenna, I'd be saying this to Mourinho and I'd be saying, look, Fellaini played really well. We've got loads of games to come. He'll be useful in some games, but this is not the game to just keep picking Fellaini because you love him. We've got lots of options in the midfield there, i.e. I think Fred would be brilliant in a game like this because Watford, they are energetic, they have got technical abilities, and so is Fred. But I believe Fred's got better abilities than those. And I would like to see Pogba and Fred going up against Capoue and Decore with Matic running the midfield from behind. That's what I think we should do. I'd be worried if we went Fellaini and Matic and Pogba, because that's when Pogba becomes starved of energy, starved of oxygen, because he's surrounded by two players who don't really have the technique and certainly don't have the speed to help him out in that midfield. So I think Fred is very, very important in a midfield three. But obviously that depends if we're going to play a 3-5-2 or not. I think 3-5-2 is what we played against Watford last year and it worked really well. And I think it's definitely the formation to go with. I mean, if we went 4-3-3, you'd probably see one of them centre-backs drop out, obviously. Young and Valencia would drop back there. That would become Lingard in a 4-3-3. And then Fellaini, Pogba and Matic, which probably would help Fellaini out a little bit, and maybe that's why we would go 4-3-3. But I don't agree with that. I personally think Fellaini should be on the bench for this game. I don't know what you lot think, but that's the way I think we should go. I think Mourinho always likes to look at what the opposition is. He spent nearly £60 million on Fred. This is exactly the sort of game that Fred gives you some tenacity and energy, but he also gives you some flair and creativity, and that is what we need. We need to win this game. We don't need to grind it out. We need to win it. And I think we can win it. And I think there's going to be goals in this game. Depending on how we approach it, I think there'll be goals in this game. I could see it being it's a 5:30 kickoff. I think I can see 3-2 United. I can see 4-2. I can see a lot of goals in this game because I think Watford will, quite rightly, if I was Watford manager, and I'm not a Watford fan, but if I was, I would say we've won 4 from 4. We're not going to win the league. We might have thought about being relegated. We've got 4 wins in the bank. We're never going to get an opportunity like this again where we can get 5 from 5 and beat United. We'd normally be thinking, let's be careful. You know what? Them 4 wins have given us a little bit of breathing space where we can be a little bit brave. Let's go and let's use the home support. Let's use the confidence and form we've got behind us. Let's have a go. And I think that's what Watford should and will do. And that would lead it very, very interesting into how Manchester United would approach it. Because I think we've got to do the same. I think we've got to be brave in this game and really, really give a good account of ourselves and build on the things that we did before the international break. I mean, what I would say about Watford as well is, I like the look about Watford. I like the way they're probably going to play against us, and that makes me excited. I'm one of those fans who gets excited when we do play bigger teams, when we do face challengers, because I think you learn more about Manchester United when they're challenged than you do when they lose to teams like Brighton because they can't be asked to turn up. We lose to Watford at the weekend. Watford are a better team than Brighton, but it would be a more significant loss because it would be, we've just been beaten by a team that we should be better than. Whereas when you don't turn up and get beaten, yes, you moan and you rant, but you know the players haven't fulfilled what they're all about. I think if we got beaten by Watford and because they're better than us, that would be a real eye-opener. But in the context of Watford, we should also remember that the teams that they've beaten, Brighton, Burnley, Palace and Spurs. All right, Spurs beat us, so fair enough, that's a tough game. 3 of those 4 games have been at home because the Spurs game should have been away, but because of the stadium problems. So this is going to be their 4th home game in 5. So it's not surprising, actually, that they've got more points than maybe they would have done if they'd had a fairer share of away games. So it's there to be won. It's there to be... I'd love to see Martial playing Adil. But it's there to be won. And I think we will win. I'm really excited about it. And I'm really hopeful that the game is going to deliver on that excitement. Because I think it's 2 teams that hopefully will just give us a good game and we'll come out on top. And I am going to go 3-2. I think, and that would make me, nothing would make me happier than that. We've got to keep creating chances, more of them. We've got to be, fast and moving the ball better. And I think we're up against a team that's going to do the same. So hopefully it's going to be a really, really good game. A really, really good game. Matic is one I don't understand. He doesn't offer us anything. He just reminds me of Fellaini. Says Wakar. Who has the more quality players? Trevor G. Well, it's definitely Manchester United. And Watford is a good team and it'll be an exciting, intrusive match. That's from somebody called Mark Goldbridge, which clearly isn't me. Watford are better than us in terms of the football they play. They are at home. They have won all their home games. On form, Watford are favourites, as Gazel says are. And I would agree with that. And I like that. I agree with that, and I like that. I like the fact that we are, we're there to be taken a punch at, and we've got to go in there. We've got to get in the ring, and we've got to throw a few ourselves. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, let's not forget I did that podcast last night. If anyone saw it or heard it, you wouldn't see it. The podcasts don't work visually, and I said that. Look, the reality is, for anybody who's negative, they're right, because we have lost half of our Premier League games. We've lost 2 in 4. So, and whilst we're on the way back, and I want that positivity, we've not had a very good start. And I think everyone's willing to buy into this and see the development and the improvement. And Watford is the acid test. It really is. It's a team doing well, who play good football, who are at home, who are going to have a go at us. And if we were to get beat, then people will have a lot to say. But if we were to win, then it's like, that is a significant step. It's, people can't just say it's Burnley, and Burnley were crap. This would be a significant step, and United need to make it. And I hope that with the players returning to United today, from their international duty, I hope there's no residual issues. I mean, I'm sure there is, because there always are that in dressing rooms, but specifically the Pogba thing needs to be addressed, and hopefully Mourinho will do that. I'd like to see Pereira involved. Aram, I really don't even think he'll make the bench. I think McTominay will be on the bench. Mark, I think Dalot will be the wild card on Saturday, says Russell Nyoni. I really don't. I said that the other night. I really don't think he will be, because Mourinho, when given that choice of experience or youth, will always go with experience. And it's always going to be Ashley Young, isn't it? It always is. But hopefully, we've got so many games coming up. We've got League Cup. We've got Champions League. Dalot's got to be given some opportunity in there. James asking, do you think Dalot will start? No. Fulham and Wolves would batter us, says Andrew Ellis. Well, we're going to find out in relation to Wolves very soon, aren't we? That's a week on Saturday. And Matt says, I respect you. Thank you, Matt. With Fellaini and Matic in the midfield, we will struggle to score 2 goals, says Shrikaba. I mean, that's only what I'm predicting. I might have the formation wrong. I might have the personnel wrong. But that's only what I'm predicting. But I do think that he will start Fellaini. And personally, obviously, I've always had issues with Fellaini. But in the context of this game, I would say that we don't need Fellaini in this game. I don't think he suits that sort of thing. I mean, I'm just having a look on Twitter. A lot of people saying 4-3-3 with Fred, Matic and Pogba as the midfield 3. Would like to see Pereira in the midfield. Yes. Would love to see Chong come in. No, I think you've got no chance there. Few people there. Fred, Matic, Pogba, Lingard, Rashford, Lukaku, Sanchez, Fred and Matic. It's a bit weird. Don't know how that works, to be honest. 3-4-3. Lingard, Mata. Bloody hell. That's from Darren Ewers. Herrera, Matic and Pogba. I mean, yeah, it's an interesting point. Maybe not throwing Herrera out. You're always going to pick a team based on what you want to happen, isn't it? Sanchez performances are being ignored because of the Pogba drama, says Marvin Millen. Yeah, well, look, watch the show tonight at 8 o'clock, because Rance has got a few things he wants to say about the Pogba situation, and that Sanchez thing will definitely probably resonate with that as well. So watch out for 8 o'clock. Thanks everyone for watching. Please do drop a like on the video. We're getting low likes on videos at the moment, and I think people just need to come back from the international break and start getting back involved. It is exciting. I've been excited for a couple of days now. I don't know where everybody is, but yeah, please do drop a like on the video. Let's see if we can get 500 likes, and we are live again at 8 o'clock tonight, so give us your thoughts below. What I really want from people is, you can do this whether you're live or not, get in the comments below, answer me these 3 things: what formation you would play, what your midfield would be. You don't have to write the whole team out, you can if you want. What formation you'd play, what your midfield 3 would be, what your score prediction is, and also what your thoughts on Paul Pogba are, because I need those comments to use in tonight's show. So please do get comments in below and leave us your thoughts on the Pogba situation, because I want to pull out as many of them, because Rance is going to be on tonight and I want to chuck some of those comments at him. Thanks everyone for watching. Speak to you all soon. Drop a like, subscribe if you're new. And also, final thing, remember the comments below. Pogba, score prediction, midfield 3 formation. But most importantly, leave us your comments about Pogba. And also, if you didn't see my mean tweets video that I put out this morning, give it a watch. I, in the top right-hand corner, will take you straight through it. I know not all of you watch my channel, but it has got clips from the United stand on it. So if you're a United stander, you might find that quite relevant. So thanks for watching. I, in the top right-hand corner, if you want to watch that. I'll see you all soon.